Hello and welcome to this episode of Carmen's Coaching Corner, and today I have the wonderful Sara Regester with me. Sara and I have known each other probably about 2.5, 3 years now, roughly. I consider Sara a mentor of mine. I love learning from her all about a number of different things. You have so much wisdom that you so generously shared with me, and I'm so grateful for you, Sara, and what you bring into the world. So thank you.
Thank you.
So Sara, why don't you tell my audience a little bit about what you do and how you help people?
Absolutely. So I'm really happy to be here, Carmen, with your community. And today we're being spontaneous. All of us women and men, success-driven individuals, to really be more spontaneous and flexible is really the secret to really strong, empowered leadership, to be able to go with the flow. And my expertise happens to be around stress mastery. And so stress mastery is kind of a unique topic because I'm not talking about reducing stress or managing stress. My expertise is when stress is happening, how do you be good at it? And ultimately, when we're growing and stretching and stepping into a new space or learning something new or expanding our leadership, this is stressful. If we need to have a conversation with someone that's difficult, or we're facing some big project or some big change, here it is New Year's,
right?
It's like we can get really stuck in our stress, which underneath the stress is really our resistance. Because the stress is the symptom of our resistance. And so what makes me the expert is because is because first and foremost, I'm a stress junkie. I teach all of my clients exactly how I've learned to not wipe myself out in stress. And certainly I've been a registered nurse for over 30 years, and it was very stressful when I wanted to be the best nurse. I never said no. I took on all the extra projects. I really cared about my patients and just gave my all, and my peers. If they needed extra help or anything, I always said yes. I had no filter for no. I had no bottom lines, and consequently, I wiped out my health numerous times. And what came from that, interestingly enough, is I really learned how to heal myself from some pretty major things. And I found that pretty interesting. I thought, wow, there must be a way to really thrive in success without taking myself out. And how can I teach other people what I know about healing yourself to really thrive in your life? And from there, I'm an integrative health coach, and I'm actually part of a team going nationally, bringing whole health coaching out to our veterans.
Oh, I love that.
Which is like so amazing, supporting our veterans because they're so big-hearted and courageous, and they just love lifting each other up. And so I do that, and then I also, have my own private practice where I really love supporting men and women, particularly women, who are stuck in their stress and their resistance, where they can imagine doing something bigger, better, or a stronger impact, with their gifts and their shining. Or a lot of my clients might be stuck and not feeling fulfilled where they are, thinking that, if I change this job or if I change this relationship, it's going to get better. And my message is, no, let's make the changes right here, right now, where you are, in this job, in this relationship, and then see what unfolds when the new you shows up.
Yeah.
And so I just love witnessing that transformation.
Yeah.
And my secret sauce of really what I know is that I've studied shamanism for 14 years, and I'm actually an international teacher of shamanism now. I'm traveling to Australia in 2019, this year, teaching in my, within my shamanic lineage to those seekers that live down under.
Oh,
so it's an interesting combination of transformation, of spiritual approach to a holistic life, pattern change, and certainly my training is all about rewiring mindset and transforming lifestyle. So from that big, what's my bio? It's like there's a long list, and I just love sharing some little tidbits with your community, so they can have some secrets about, don't get stuck in your stress, don't get wiped out by your resistance. Just know what can you do to just take one step to get moving forward.
Thank you, Sara. I really appreciate you being on this episode, because I know that you have so much that you can share with the people that watch it. If you wouldn't mind, not everybody's familiar with shamanism, so if you wouldn't mind describing what that is, if you can, succinctly.
I think that's a great topic, because nowadays when I often will say indigenous healing, because when you say shamanism, people automatically think it means you're going to Peru and working with ayahuasca or some hallucinogenic cactus. And I'm here to tell you, shamanism is much bigger than that. Bigger. So when we take our continent, Central, North, South America, all of us in this one big landmass, back to the indigenous early cultures before the formalized Native American tribes that we know now, that would be Turtle Island. And Turtle Island had these wise medicine men and medicine women, shaman, healers, that would come together and share their knowledge. And so in 1254 BC, they came together and started my school, the lineage that I study. So it's very ancient. And they just really wove together their own knowledge, not from one tribe, but from all the tribes. And then these wise elders would take the knowledge, braid it together like a hair braid, and carry it out to the people. And so I can share with you that, to me, shamanism is using nature and the creation of the as above universe down to the earth around us to really make a connection for healing and transformation. And the outcome of shamanism in the simplest version is personal growth and development, refinement of character, really peeling away what isn't your naturalness so you can really know who you truly are, how to shine with your gifts, and how to put it out in the world without apology. So it's about, a very strong dedication, highly transformative, deep, rapid change, using alchemy of ceremony to really create that transformation to be your best. That's shamanism. If anyone tries to sell you anything different, then they might be a charlatan or some sort of brouhaha that wants you to leave your body and go have some out-of-body experience, which, there is an element of that globally, but it doesn't have to be that.
And I, having known Sarah as long as I had the privilege to know you, I love the way that you blend those learnings that you have, that ancient wisdom that you have, with your modern day teachings that you have, your nursing background, all the other modalities that you've learned and studied. And I think they just really complement each other. People like to keep things in boxes and segregated, but to me, I think it's really wonderful to just blend things and see what happens, right?
Yes. Because I am not anti-Western medicine. I am not. We need the diagnosis. Sometimes we need the surgery or the treatment or even the medication. But Western medicine is the bridge to the greater healing. And so what I know, how I blend them together, is when someone has a physical imbalance or a physical health problem, it really tells me what's out of balance, that you open the door to that health problem, and what needs to change in your lifestyle pattern or your mindset to actually evolve and grow out of it. And so healing is a multi-pronged approach. It's not just one pill or one treatment. It's everything you do to really change your life, to do your life differently, and to get back in balance. And so that's where Western medicine definitely has a place, and there's more. Yeah, and that's what I saw as a nurse. I was so amazed as a nurse how some patients had the very worst outcome, and they just didn't have the resilience to meet that, catastrophic health problem. And then you meet another person who's like a mess, and they heal and get on with their life. And I'm like, gosh, the human spirit is so amazing.
It really is. And a lot of that is definitely, I feel, is to do with what is my emotion around my perception of how I'm going to come out of this situation. Right? What is it's not just about the mindset, but it's also because your thoughts create your emotions, and also your emotions can create your thoughts. If you go into a situation thinking the worst, well, you're going to basically get that, right? But if you go into a situation, especially if you're healing from something traumatic, and it can be an emotional trauma or physical trauma, your whole mindset and what emotion you bring to it is really going to make a huge difference in how you heal, right? Or come through the other end of that, right? And I love the fact that you are really kind of like putting your feet in two different worlds, right? You've got the ancient wisdom that you bring to your healing, and you have the modern day wisdom that most of us have grown up with, right? And you blend the two together, and I think that's what really makes you unique. Tell me more about, because you talk about resilience a lot.
Yeah.
So tell me more about resilience.
Yeah, it's really about how to grow from your stress. And if you take your past painful experiences, the drama, the things that were really particularly challenging, you can really reframe the old pain stories into wisdom of how you're wiser and can do your life differently. And so there doesn't have to be pain and drama in your life lessons. You actually can learn from pleasure and wisdom when you really embrace learning and wisdom as a way to meet challenge. And so the piece that I think of for your community is that we culturally think that stress is bad. Stress is harmful, stress will wipe you out. Well, stress will do that if you've encoded the fight or flight mechanism of the hormonal response every time you get stressed out. And we stress about those things we care about. If we didn't care about them, we'd not be stressed about them. If your children are stressing you out or your partner is stressing you out, you don't get rid of them necessarily to reduce your stress. You want to be good at your stress, right? And so it's important to have some strategies, some tools, some mindset about how you communicate, about how you meet those triggers, so that you can just stay calm and neutral and really address what's going on in a way where you're not losing energy, you're not flying off the handle, and you're really able to meet the challenge in that confrontation and grow from it. And so this is really what the little change is, that if we respond to every stress trigger with fight or flight, we will put our body into that mode of survival with those stress hormones flooding your organs, bathing your cells, and guess what? That's what starts that chain reaction of all the resistance that will cause inflammation and create all the health problems.
Yeah, all the disease.
Yeah. But the other way that you want to train, and this is what I do with my clients and in my talks, my workshops, it's really how can you have an attitude of meet the challenge. The meet the challenge says, I'm not anxious, I'm so nervous, I'm so worried, I'm going to flunk this, I'm going to fail, I'm going to fall off the stage.
Right.
It's like, okay, this is a challenge. It feels a little edgy, and I hope I do good, and I really want to grow from this experience. Oh, and I'm the one that said yes and signed up for this. And so that meet the challenge is going to support us to get the little boost of hormone, but then to have the kind of hormone level drop back down again, so that we can actually learn from the process, we can gain more confidence, and actually not have to be perfect, but grow from whatever we said yes to. Right. On the other hand, if you are avoiding a car accident, or you are about to fall off a cliff, yes, you do want fight or flight. I mean, there's times when our life is in danger. That is what it was part of our, design on a physiologic level. But for the day-to-day, you're having a rough day at the office, you just had a blow up with your spouse, it's how can I meet this challenge? And, how can I get through this experience in a way where I'm not losing energy, or I'm not flying off the handle emotionally, and I can just stay calm and focused and just get through it.
Yeah, and one of the things when I work with my clients is like, you get to choose how long you stay in that state, right? You get to choose how long you feel angry at the situation, the other person, the work, the fact that you don't maybe like your job. You get to choose all of that. When you realize that, when I was going through my own personal growth journey, when I came to that epiphany, like, I get to choose how long I hold a grudge against somebody. And the Maltese, my family are Maltese, and we are masters, gold, Oscar winners at holding grudges against those that have hurt us in some way, or we've had an argument with in some way. And, you know, when you learn to master the fact that you get to choose how long you stay in a specific emotion and how quickly you move through it, so that it's not the dominating aspect of your experience, right? Would you tend to agree with that?
Yes, and that's what I teach my clients, or give you strategies and tools that when you are triggered, this is what stress mastery is about.
Yeah.
We are going to meet stress if we're living a life that is rich and fulfilling. And if we don't have stress in our life, guess what? You're boring. Like, sorry, you're not engaging in those things that mean something to you. Right. So it is about shortening the duration of the reaction, or even better, training, using tools about how you can just stay calm and meet it in a way that's meeting the challenge, not the reactivity of the freak out, where you lose so much energy and you're like flying off the handle, just losing your plot, right?
Yeah, so true. And I used to be exceptional at that. sometimes it's better than others. But you know, it's your ability to respond to the situation rather than react to a situation that really will make a huge difference in your day-to-day experience. And it's like you said, we expel so much energy when we're in that fight or flight response mode versus where we're able to, I love the way you worded it, meet the challenge. How do I get to meet the challenge of this experience so that I can think more clearly, still breathe properly, because when we're in that fight or flight response, we're taking shallow breaths, we're preventing oxygen around getting to the brain, we're not able to think very clearly. There's so many different things that are going on when we're in that state. And what ends up happening, and you probably know this much more from a medical perspective than I do, but my own personal experience is that we get used to being in that stress, and it kind of layers itself and layers itself and layers itself, and
like a habit,
right? And it becomes a part of our identity and how we think we need to perform every day and how we need to show up. But it really doesn't. We don't, because you said stress junkie, right?
Yeah, stress junkie. That's my book, Release of a Stress Junkie.
So, you know, and I was 100% there, you know, back in earlier in my career, that I would have two cell phones with me. One was a work cell phone, one was my personal cell phone. And I would sleep with my work cell phone because I felt the need to be available to whoever I was available to 24/7, which it's crazy. It's really crazy. How are you ever going to meet the stress, you know, in a way that's healthy for you if you're not setting the right kind of boundaries? And I think that's what happened with you, with the way you burnt yourself.
Yeah, no boundaries, no bottom lines, and no strategy when the overwhelm comes. It's like you want to have some go-tos. Okay, I'm feeling stressed, I'm overwhelmed, I can feel like the energy is up here. And it's like, do I need this? Do I need this? Do I need this? Like, you need a repertoire, almost like arrows in a quiver, you know, that you can pull out. Okay, I'll use this. Oh, okay, I'll use this. And so that's really what the focus is, because the clients I work with are amazing. They're brilliant, success-driven, but they just need some new wisdom and some new tools to do their life a little differently, to keep up with the pace and the demand of what success is really asking for. And so that's really what it's about, is kind of having that new set of resources to support yourself so you can thrive, you know, in your success, or have really fulfilling relationships where you know how to communicate in an empowering way, and to be able to give away or move through the stress when it triggers you, you know, and that's strategies.
Yeah. What's one simple strategy somebody could possibly take away?
You know, my favorite go-to that is pretty universal is really simple. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, there's this, there's this, there's this, there's this. You know, there's so many. Okay, I'm going to get two.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, 3, 2. So one is when you're really ruminating and you're really caught in something and you just can't get out of the grind. Something happened 2 or 3 hours ago and you're still like stuck on it. You're losing energy. You're totally not in the present moment because you're back there where it happens, right? Yeah. You need to just get up from your desk or leave the room. You go outside. This is shamanism. You go outside and you find a tree. And you find that tree and you just walk around it clockwise and just make a connection with that tree, like you can talk to it intuitively, and just ask, tree, come support me. And then in the first person present tense, You give away that negative energy, that feeling, that event that happened, that person that's annoying you, you give it away to the tree. Like I give away this feeling of frustration and pissed off anger that is creating this angst in my day. And you literally, like first person present tense, give it to the tree, and the tree transforms that and puts it back out from our carbon dioxide of our voice out to the universe as oxygen. So it like transforms negative energy into something that's, you know, fuel for the environment. And so trees are very resilient. We will not harm tree with our negative energy. So that's one strategy if you're really stuck, man. Go, just leave the space, go find a tree. And you know what, when you connect to one tree in your yard or at your office or the park, it connects you to all trees. So we can't always get to nature and go have a walk in the woods. We know how that makes us feel so fabulous. But if we work with one tree, it connects us to all trees. That's shamanism.
Such a beautiful tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can be as simple. I mean, I'm looking out the window. You can see behind us. There's trees in the shadow. There's trees, so use them. They're there to support us. And then the other thing that really helps, always breath and centering. So one of my favorites, I always give this to everyone, it comes from Andrew Weil at U of A Center for Integrative Medicine. And this is called the 4-7-8 breath. And so you can so easily recenter and ground yourself. And I add another little twist in how I teach this breath. Because the 4-7-8 breath is that you breathe in, and we'll do it. You breathe in for a count of 4. You hold that breath for a count of 7. And then you exhale for a count of 8. Well, you cannot have this ongoing ruminating loop of dialogue continuing while you're breathing and counting. And in addition, the inhale really connects us to the feminine receptive energy. The exhale connects us to the masculine active energy. So we get into male-female balance simply by breathing. That alone, just take a breath, and it always helps shift yourself. Now, the secret ingredient I give is I always tell people to breathe down to your center, to get out of the busy brain that is in the loop of inner dialogue. We want to breathe down to this place at your core that is about 3 inches below the navel and a little towards the spine. It's your absolute center. Athletes know this, and yogis know this, that it goes dantian, power point, power place, 1 point, womb space. It has many names, but it's your absolute center. So 3 inches below the navel, a little towards the spine. Let's go ahead and just do a couple rounds of this breath as we close. And so you can soft focus or close your eyes. Root your feet down in the floor. I'll do the counting. And so everyone, right where you are, you're going to breathe in all the way down to your womb space. And so breathe in for a count of 4. Hold that breath for a count of 7. And exhale for a count of 8. Okay, breathe in for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. And exhale for a count of 8. One more round. Breathe in for a count of 4. Bring it all the way down below your navel into your lower belly. Hold for a count of 7. And exhale now for a count of 8. Okay, you can open your eyes and just feel the difference. Even in this room, you can feel the energy is just, yeah. And so you can do this, like if you have a blow up with your spouse in the kitchen, you can do it in the office before a meeting. You can do it if you're driving, just don't close your eyes. Because, but you know, anytime you're breathing and counting, it's just really a good way just to get back to square zero, get into your body, out of your head, and it'll really help you ground and center and feel more present, so you can be more neutral. You can creatively problem solve whatever's come up for you. And it just really is a great technique. If I don't offer anything else, that's the one.
That's so funny because when I'm teaching my workshops, I will often say, 'cause there's always some breathing element that I want to part with participants. And I always say, if there's nothing else you take away from this class, just breathe and do this breathing technique. Because I learned that breathing technique a few years ago, and that was probably one of the first tools that you could do immediately. It's instant, takes nothing, right? It takes seconds, right? And it was so beneficial to me in my crazy, stressful work environment that I was like, oh my God, this is genius. But the simple stuff usually is the most effective stuff, when you say. So I really appreciate you sharing that with everybody. Is there anything that you have coming up? You said you had a book.
Yes. Well, my website is Directions for Wellness. It's a plug. And on that website, Directions for Wellness, there's a free ebook, How to Grow from Your Stress. And so you're welcome to come visit my website and download that. And then I'm writing a book that's in revision stage called Relief for a Stress Junkie. So that one is chock-a-block with tips. And certainly I love, giving my talks and workshops around how to grow from your stress mastery, from feeling stuck to feeling free. And my signature session is called the Evolutionary Blueprint, and that is really a session where I really look at how are you wired to evolve and grow. What are you growing into? Where are you getting stuck that's blocking you from the fullest expression of your gifts? And within that session, you even understand what animal totems support you to be your natural self. So it's 90 minutes of amazing clarity. And so this is a great time of year, to come and get your evolutionary blueprint. I do it online or face-to-face.
So I'll make sure that I post everything that Sarah said, ways to contact her, so that you can get hold of her free ebook and look at her website and see what classes that she has coming up, especially if you're in the area. But since you travel everywhere too, maybe you can catch her out of Arizona. And thank you, Sarah, for being here today and sharing your wisdom and clearly explaining what shamanism is.
Yeah, that was probably the best part of the visit, wasn't it? Let's say what it is and what it's not.
So you have like transformation and growth.
Thank you, Carmen. It was so fun today.
To get started, please call or email me or schedule an appointment on my website.